Welcome to the 2025 Miami Open Draw Preview Show. It's Stephen Bowden as normal, but we're with JP Hovey today to break down the draws that we have in front of us. There's so much to get into because of the results in Indian Wells, and we've got the draws now available here in Miami. We've been watching the tennis here on the ground, giving you behind the scenes. So we're going to break down the draw, tell you what we've been up to as Jack Draper and Mira Andreeva are on Sunshine Double Watch. This is the slice presented by Betway. Let's get into it. As you might have heard through our social media, this is the first time JP and I have ever been together in person, and I'm so stoked to have you here with me.
Stoked to be here, and we're not the only people that are stoked because on the elevator up here, what happened, Steven?
A couple ball kids said, "Hey, man, the slice, we follow, we're subscribers and we've watched your show." These guys were both ball kids, and now they're like the ball kid managers. So, you know, we love that this is the show of the people. That was awesome to see you guys. And we've seen other people around the grounds, and we're here to mix it up with people, players, the media. I'm here for the rest of the week. JP is here for the next couple of days.
Here till Wednesday. Steven, do you feel like the tournament preview is easier when you're here in person and you get to size the people up?
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely get insights that you wouldn't have if you weren't on the ground. I remember back in Montreal, I saw that Milos Raonic was warming up for his match, and he was like shaking out his arm, and I'm like, that doesn't look good. He ended up pulling out. So yeah, we've talked to Brad Stein, coach of Tommy Paul, already here about the speed here in Miami of the courts, and he says it's definitely quicker than in Indian Wells. But in general, JP, what would you say? And I guess before we get into that, shout out to Betway. If you haven't yet subscribed, do that. It'll make you a better tennis player. And also, if you're planning on betting on the tennis, use Betway because that makes you a smarter, better. They got a great platform, and they've brought us down here to Miami to give you content like this from the ground. So massive shout out to them. What's your first impressions been here as a media member at the Miami Open?
First impressions as a media member is that it is a blast. Good people down here, but first impressions overall. And as I'm looking at the draw sheet, yesterday, I sat in the stadium, for how long? For a very long time watching Perry Card and Monfils serve. So I think, not that has anything to do with first experience as media, but that was my first experience seeing him serve in person.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds like a gun.
Yeah, it's literally different. And on these courts, like we heard Brad say, I think his serve is going to be almost impossible to handle. So let's get into the draw, I would say.
He's in that top one, the top half.
Hey, they're right at the top of the draw there. So on the men's side, we'll start with the men, and I'll put it up here on the screen. We'll just break down the quarterfinals. Actually, let's not put it on the screen yet. We'll just tell you where the quarterfinals are at. So if all the top 8 players went through, this is what it would look like. We've got Zverev on the top quarter as the number 1 seed, and we've got Jack Draper in his quarter as the 6th seed. Indian Wells winner, obviously, going for the Sunshine Double. He's in Zverev's quarter, so that is tough if they were to play, but we're going to break down that whole storyline later. Taylor Fritz is in the 2nd quarter. He's the 3rd seed. That's his quarter, and he's got Rublev in his quarter. That's the 8th seed. And then we've got the 3rd quarter is Djokovic's as the 4th seed, and he's got Medvedev as the 7th seed in it. And the bottom quarter is Alcaraz's, and he has Casper Ruud in it. So a couple of the big stories there to me, JP, are Djokovic on a 3-match losing streak.
Yeah. First time since when?
2018. Very interestingly, in 2018, he was coming in. 2017, he started his arm injury, took a break, came back in 2017, lost at the Australian Open to Dennis Istomin, then came to Indian Wells and lost to Taro Daniels.
Dang.
And then came here to Miami and lost to Benoit Paire, if I remember correctly. So that was the last time that he's lost 3 matches in a row. Very different circumstance. He was in essentially the prime of his career, had an acute injury, and then he ended up getting surgery after Miami, I believe, or either it was after Miami or before Indian Wells, but he came back too quick after one of them. Then he started to figure it out on the clay. So what's the situation now for Djokovic? He's much older. He's won everything there is to win. And I think the biggest question we've talked about is motivation. Does he have the motivation to come here and put in his all to try and win these tournaments?
I don't know, man, because we did hear from a source as well that he was in town doing a photo shoot yesterday, maybe. And obviously these guys do photo shoots all the time. It's nothing new, but I don't know. Like I I love Djokovic.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, there's no way he loses 4 in a row in my head.
Okay, we'll mark that down.
And so I don't know, man, but I do feel like I see less grind about him.
So the information we got was he was at a club
Mhm.
doing photo shoots, and maybe in the past he wasn't eating any chocolate, he wasn't doing anything.
Maybe he's enjoying his chocolate.
And you know what? Credit to him. He should enjoy his
deserves
chocolate.
to.
I think 24 majors. You can probably have some chocolate and still beat most of these guys. But that's one of the big stories is Djokovic's 3-match losing streak. Will it be snapped? The other one for me is Draper. Like we talked about in the podcast, the physicality. Going through all the way through the Indian Wells draw, will he be able to continue that in Miami and avoid kind of an early loss? I would say is a bit of a come here later than everyone else, and you got to go right into playing in the first. Or he'll get a bye now in this format, which will actually help. It didn't used to be that way. So yeah, will he be able to be physically up to the task of trying to get through this draw? We're gonna have to wait and see.
Emotionally too.
Yeah,
because what a roller coaster he's been on.
Totally. Yeah, he's never experienced anything like that in tennis as far as like winning and all that goes with that, especially at a tournament like Indian Wells. So that's another huge story. And then we've got Alcaraz in Miami. Does he need a win, JP?
I think he does need a win, and I think he's going to play like he needs a win.
And he's going to have that, Latin American crowd here.
Right.
They're going to be going for Carlos. They're going to be going for Fonseca. We'll talk about that. But Carlos, hasn't, that final that he was just in is the only Masters 1000 final he's been in. He hasn't won one now. But he has won Miami before, back in 2022, beat Casper Ruud. So he can win any tournament he plays in. I think what we've been seeing in the comments is that, if, mentally he's just kind of losing focus in matches. He's not playing his style of tennis consistently through the whole match or match to match. And I think he's going to look to make a change here on that for sure.
I think it'll happen. And I think Alcaraz is like a ticking time bomb of success where he can only go so long without winning.
Yeah.
And that timer is we're almost to the bell to where it's like, all right, time to go on an epic run.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's on the way.
And then, he's got time to go on the run, and he's going on a run trying to get that #1 ranking from Sinner, who's sidelined. He's like in a 3-month penalty box. Like, is anyone going to try and take my #1 rank away? Because I'll come back and play with it.
Just keeps growing his lead.
Another guy who's trying to do that is Alexander Zverev. Maybe like the next on the throne to get the #1. He's been, for lack of a better word, choking it away. Is he going to be able to turn that around here in Miami? I feel like he loves Miami. Is that because he likes the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler?
He does like the Heat. He also loves to be sleeveless. Great city to be sleeveless in.
Great city to be sleeveless. I'm unfortunately not sleeveless. Actually, more like fortunately for you guys. But we'll see if JP maybe goes sleeveless as the days wind on. It's supposed to get hot tomorrow. Let's get into this draw, JP, and break it down. We're going to go quarter by quarter.
Yep.
We'll look at you can see it now on the screen, the seeded players in each quarter, and JP's got a dark horse and a great first round match in each quarter. So this is the Zverev quarter. He's on the top and Draper's on the bottom. Who else is in there as a seeded player? Pesci Pericard, like JP talked about. He could play Zverev in Zverev's second match. So
brutal for Zverev to be the 1 seed at the Miami Open in your second round match. Could be Pericard.
Yeah. And then if he were to win that, he could play the winner of Artur Fils or Tiafoe or the other 2 seeds in his kind of 8th or whatever there of his quarter.
Which is crazy.
Which is, again, crazy. Both those guys love playing here, or at least Tiafoe does. I think home state. And then he's got Runa, finalist in Indian Wells, and Draper, winner of Indian Wells, also in his quarter. So it's kind of almost hard to call it Zverev's quarter.
You wouldn't want to be the 1 seed in that quarter. I think it's the hardest one.
I wouldn't want to call it my quarter either. I'd be like, hey, guys, don't put pressure on me. I'm just here to try and win like everyone else. But that's an insane quarter, I would say, just based on current form. But what do you think is what do you think to your first round match there that you're looking at?
Right. I think it goes back to your Sunshine double watch. Jack Draper is down here. But unfortunately for Jack Draper, and this is my dark horse and the match I'm looking forward to, assuming he gets that first win, Jenson Brooksby. He played well in Indian Wells. He's back on tour. This would be his third tournament back.
I think, I don't even, I just watched him in this first match in Indian Wells.
Yeah.
And he beat Felix. I think that might have been his first one back.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if he played in Acapulco or not.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, he's got some matches under him. He's got he's back in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And he was playing well. He beat Felix. Hey, his second round match was good. I think he won at least one set in it. And then, dude. And if you're Draper, you're coming off the win. You've just played the most consecutive matches that he's probably has played in his career.
Yeah.
You've got the emotional dump. You've got the late travel.
Yeah.
So it's a tough spot if you're Jack Draper to see Jensen Brooksby possibly in that second round. And so he's my dark horse, and that's the match I'm looking forward to.
I love it. Jensen Brooksby, dark horse, protected ranking dark horse. That's like a tier level. That's
right.
That's like S tier.
Yeah.
The protected ranking. We got another one, Nick Kyrgios. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Second quarter, Taylor Fritz's quarter. He's got Rublev in it, but he's also got Denis Shapovalov. Check this one out. Denis Shapovalov, Hubert Hurkacz, Ben Shelton, Alex Demonauer, Ugo Humbert, and Matteo Berrettini.
And Rublev.
That might be even tougher than the Zverev quarter, just based on
it is actually
the resumes of all those guys. I think on the current form, maybe Zverev's is harder, but resumes in there is crazy.
Dude, because you think about it, because even the name I have circled down here as a dark horse, unfortunately, well, the matchup that we were speaking on earlier, Fonseca versus Tien, that is the matchup to watch in the first round.
Yes.
And then the second round, man, I don't even know where to start because I feel like Nicholas Jarry is always dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially, again, it's another South American guy.
Oh, yeah.
Playing in Miami, has a big game. If you're Fritz, you cannot be stoked because, and even if Kobali wins that one, but say Jarry wins, it'll be Jarry versus Shapo, right?
Yeah.
And then both of those guys have decent records against Fritz.
Yep.
Shapo most recently got a win over him in Dallas.
Yeah.
So if you're Fritz, so far what we're seeing, the trend is the top seeds are not, it doesn't look good for them.
We're not having confidence on the first page here for the top seeds.
Yeah.
But that first round matchup between Fonseca and Leonard Tien, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this and are talking about it. That's an insane matchup for I would say the two most hyped teenagers on the men's tour. Fonseca just winning at the Arizona Tennis Classic. And we're going to be around that. I really hope that match, it will go well. I'm still here, but I'll be getting, I'll just be posted up there kind of, I think, asking Brazilian fans, like, what's the hype like? That's going to be amazing. Wow. Okay.
And while you're flipping your page over, the fact that Nishikori is also just sneaking in there.
Thank you for reminding me. That's actually my dark horse. Like Fonseca, it's hard to even call him a dark horse at this point, but still fair. Anyone can be a dark horse.
Especially according to the rankings.
Fritz could be your dark horse. Like, I don't expect him to win the tournament. No offense, Fritz. But Kei Nishikori, I would say IMG guy, not born, obviously, but like bred in South Florida.
Yeah.
Knows the Florida conditions. I'll just leave it at that. He could make a run here. Keep your eyes on it. All right, third quarter, Novak Djokovic's quarter. He's got Medvedev, Lehechka, Korda, Tsitsipas, Musetti, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Mickelson in his quarter. So that is, again, very difficult. That's why they call it the Masters 1000. What I love to see there is Felix Auger-Aliassime. He'll play a qualifier first. We love that. And then he could play Musetti and then Djokovic and then Medvedev. So that's going to be tough for Felix, but I like Felix on these courts.
Yeah.
Just to get, just to talk about the Canadians on these courts. He's made it to the semifinals, I believe, before. And the way that the ball skids through these courts with his serve, if he's serving well, it's going to be really hard for any of those guys to beat him.
Dude, I watched some of Felix's practice today. Perfect. First time seeing him in person.
Perfect.
Way taller and broader than I thought he would be.
He looks like an avatar.
I'm like, this dude is actually like you would walk by him on the street and think, oh, this is a special athlete. Yeah. When a lot of tennis guys don't look like that.
That's right. You watch. Yeah, that's a great way to put that because you do see him and you're like, was he built in a lab for tennis? He's like the perfect height, like thin but like strong.
Right.
I feel like he's got a little more jacked. Maybe we can ask him about that when we talk to him in the next couple of days. Put on a little bit of weight. He's a beast. So he's had a great year. 2 tough results in Indian Wells at the Australian Open, the 2 biggest tournaments. But other than that, he's played amazing. So he's in there. What's your first round matchup that you're looking at here in this quarter?
First round matchup in this one. I got circled. I'm looking in the wrong one. Dude, honestly, hate to be that guy, but Monfils playing, if he wins, playing Medvedev in the second round.
Yeah.
That's brutal if you're Medvedev.
Or Medvedev's second match. Yeah.
Second match. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. That would be an amazing matchup. And
the first round is tough.
the first one, though, there's not really any big, sweet first round matchups there, to be honest. Another one that'd be interesting is if we're just looking at Djokovic's path through this quarter, he could play countryman Hamad Medjedovic, Tsitsipas, a couple weeks ago. Then he could play Alex Mickelson from the U.S. That would be tough, but that would be a great crowd here with the U.S. support. And then he could play either Musetti or Auger-Aliassime, and then Medvedev. So
ideal path for him. So far, I feel like he's the seed that has the most. I feel like he could handle that path better than the other guys.
Yeah.
It's fair. Not easy at all.
Yeah, no, it's not easy, and it hasn't been easy for the other guys. I think you're probably right there.
Right.
And then I think if he plays Hamad Medjedovic, they've played like he's like I'm your daddy.
Right.
Like
listen,
I literally pay for your career.
We walk out here and think, hey man, you might as well go ahead and retire.
Yeah, you think you're gonna come upset? You're gonna give me my fourth loss in a row? That funding's gonna get pulled. Real quick.
Career over.
No, I'm sure actually Medjedovic is on his own now, to be clear, because he's won enough. I'm sure that he's fine now. But my main point is Djokovic would know his game inside out, and I would think, he's not going to lose 4 matches in a row. So yeah, that's another great quarter. And then bottom quarter, Alcaraz and Casper Ruud. They've got Tabilo, Cerundolo, Tommy Paul, Dimitrov, Khachanov, and Nakashima. Yeah.
I feel like that is the quarter I would want to be in if I was a player.
No offense to any of those guys.
I mean, we're saying that. It's like Alcaraz is in it. Tommy Paul is in it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I have not been moving this down, but now we're down on the bottom quarter here.
And, dude, I'm looking at Kecmanovic in there. He would play Ruud second round if he can beat Alexander. I feel like this has it spelled wrong.
Kovacevic.
I
think it might be. I don't know.
And he's an American guy, so that's tough. But both those dudes,
right?
I feel like are high quality players. And if you're them, you got to be stoked you'd be matched up with Ruud in the second round. Obviously, Ruud is an amazing player.
Yeah.
But you'd want to see him on a hard court.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Alcaraz, his route through this would be either David Goffin or Alexander Vukic, and then Nakashima probably. And then Dimitrov or Khachanov. Crazy thing is, I believe last year Dimitrov absolutely smacked Alcaraz at Miami. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He cooked him. It was like 1-1 or something like that. And it wasn't maybe it wasn't that good, but it was like on these quicker courts, Dimitrov's amazing. So that could be a good rematch, revenge match for Alcaraz. So I think if Alcaraz is at his best, he's steamrolling through this quarter, to be honest.
Yeah.
And but which is the theme for his career, and it's a great place to be. Every match is kind of up to you,
right?
In a bit of a way. There's only a few times a year, or every couple times in his career ever, where he's gotten the racket taken out of his hand, and one of those was Dimitrov here, either last year or the year before. So that'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, so that is the men's draw from Miami. In general, that seems super difficult to me, JP.
It does. Like the easiest one was for Alcaraz, and you look at the people in his thing, it's like, this isn't easy either.
This is not easy either. So if you had to predict a winner, now everyone loves predictions on the channel. If you had to predict a winner for the Miami Open men's, who would that be?
Oh, winner overall.
Yeah, just like who to win the tournament.
Dude, I think I'm going to go with Alcaraz. We break down his quarter. That's the quarter you'd want to be in. Yep. And like I was saying earlier, ticking time bomb of success. That's gonna ding here in Miami.
Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
I agree with you. I think I would pick Alcaraz as well because he loves the sun. He loves the good vibes down in Miami. Helps him maybe relax a little bit. It seems like he's a bit uptight in Indy Wells, and he said that. So
yeah,
I would also predict Alcaraz. So there you go. Predictions from the slice: Alcaraz to win Miami 2025. Not a super out there pick at all. But I think he's got to get on the winning train here. So let's go to the women's draw now and put it up on the screen, and I will put it through for you guys this time. Let's look at the quarterfinalists. So where are they? Sabalenka is the first seed in the top quarter, and she's got Rybakina, the 7th seed, in her quarter. Coco Gauff's the 3rd seed. She's got Paolini in her second quarter as the 6th seed. Jessica Pegula, 4 seed, has Emma Navarro in her quarter, the third quarter, and then Swiatek has the number 2 seed has Madison Keys in her quarter there. To me, coming into the women's draw, the biggest story is Mira Andreeva. We've talked about that on the podcast, and to me, it's like she's on Sunshine Double Watch. Can she do it again? She's a 17-year-old. Does she even know what she's doing? Can she make it 3 Masters WTA 1000s in a row? Which quarter of the draw is she in? She's in, I would say maybe one of the softer quarters. Pegula, Navarro, and by that I mean she's not in Swiatek's quarter. She's not in Sabalenka's quarter, or Coco Gauff's quarter for that matter. So she maybe has like a little bit of a softer quarter, but let's get into it there. Looking at other names that might pop out to you, but I think for the sake of Swiatek and Rybakina specifically, they might be happy to not see her in their quarter because they've lost 2 tournaments in a row to the 17-year-old.
Dude, the female, the women's side is tough.
It is tough. So do you have any first round, I guess in the whole draw, do you have any first round matches kind of circled there or dark horses?
Let me flip over real quick. I mean, my dark horses are all like solid players.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not putting anybody on any crazy game.
Yeah.
Dude.
One I would put on, I was just in the press conference with Coco Gauff.
Yeah.
And she's from Florida. She's staying at home for this tournament. So she loves that. So she's actually historically done poorly here. And one reporter pointed that out there, which I'm sure she's aware. So in the past, like, I don't know, like a combo of maybe pressure, hometown vibes, whatever. But I think she's maybe old enough now that she feels more and more relaxed here, and she's traveled more and more. So maybe she's going to have a better performance here, and she'll kind of get back to her winning ways.
How do we think the 2024 champion will fare? Danielle Collins. She's in Sabalenka's quarter.
Okay.
And she would play her in the 4th round.
Yes, she's the 14th seed. So, Danielle Collins, it's a lot. I think there's always pressure. You can see that there on the screen. There's always pressure when you're the defending champion, especially when you're Collins, who's the 14th seed, maybe hasn't done that much since this win last year, but she's got 1,000 points that she's trying to defend.
Yeah.
So you lose first round, you're losing like over 900 points.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Well, she wouldn't lose in the first round. She'd lose in in round 64. So but she would still lose over 900 points. So that's a big deal if you're Danielle Collins. But so in that first quarter, Danielle Collins is there, Zhang's there, Putin Seva, Leylah Fernandez, Canadian. We'll be excited to do it. I think she'll be the only Canadian in the women's draw. So that'll be great to see. But then, I think Sabalenka, we talked about it earlier, just revenge tour times 2 now.
Yeah, I think I know we're not doing predictions, but I think she's a lock.
Yeah.
As close as you can be to a lock in a tournament. Now, I do love Coco's route.
Okay.
If I know you said she hasn't done the greatest results here, but if you look at her quarter, a lot of these people, Ons Jabeur, Maria Sakkari, Haddad Maya, none of these people are playing well right now. And they all have the seeds.
It is crazy. And that's what's amazing about the women's game. All these are household names, Sakkari, Jabeur, but I haven't heard anything from Jabeur for a couple of years now. And she's still the 31st seed. She's Samsonova she was, I believe, top 10 at one point. Jasmine Paolini was on fire last year, so she could be a serious challenge if they get to the quarterfinals to play. That's who Coco Gauff's quarterfinal opponent would be. I do love that quarter for Coco. And just to go quickly back to the last quarter, the Sabalenka Rybakina quarterfinal, that could be amazing because this is a court that suits both of their games and would be super powerful. So they played in the Australian Open final before. Sabalenka Rybakina quarter would be pretty epic. And now if we go to the third quarter, which is the one with Andreeva in there, we got Navarro, who we walked past today, and Pegula. Who else do we got in that quarter? Schneider, Kostyuk, Kalinskaya, Noskova, and Emma Raducanu. Potential Emma Raducanu versus Emma Navarro second round match if Emma Raducanu is to beat the wild card Sayaka Ishii from Japan, which, Emma hasn't been able to get many wins recently. It's been tough for her. So I know the British press who come here to cover every tournament. I don't know. I actually heard, this is interesting. I heard in the press room yesterday that a bunch of British journalists were there in Indian Wells. Emma loses first round and a bunch of them leave.
Wow.
Who wins the final? Jack Draper on the men's side. That's how big.
That's crazy.
That's how big Emma Raducanu is.
That's what a major does.
Yeah, winning the U.S. Open, the only female qualifier general to ever win a major, makes you like more popular than anyone else. Like you're like David Beckham.
It makes you more popular than the 7th ranked man in the world that just won Indian Wells.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So that's crazy. So Emma Raducanu there, anyways, in that quarter with Navarro and
I think
Pegula.
Yeah, Pegula. I would love to see her make a run. Has Kalinskaya, has she been hurt recently?
I don't know. I haven't followed her to know that.
Yeah,
she's still in the top 32 ranking. But yeah, on a quick court like this, a lot of these players who aren't as much grinders, like Kalinskaya, she can hit a great ball. And to be fair, Raducanu, they can have more chance here to get their put away power.
Right.
Put it on display.
I'm kind of excited for Anisimova and Andreeva if they were to play in that 3rd round.
Wow. Yeah, that would be great. Anisimova, she won in
Doha.
Yeah, she won in Doha, and Andreeva's won the next 2 tournaments.
And I feel like Anisimova came on the scene around that same age as Andreeva is right now. And, unfortunately, things didn't go her way and all the hype was there.
Yeah.
So it could be a way she could be fired up for that match of like, all right, you know what? Let me try to put her in her place.
Yeah, for real. Well, that's let's hope that match plays out because that could be epic. And if we go to the last quarter here, Swiatek's quarter with Madison Keys, I mean, just selfishly, I'm hoping that matchup would prevail. Madison Keys, I believe also, is she from Florida? Or did she just I feel like this reminds me of Florida.
Yeah.
American though, and on this court, her game would be awesome. Who else is in that quarter? Svitolina, Mertens, Mukova, Badosa, Clara Towson, and Yelena Ostapenko.
A lot of people that could get hot.
Is that the most dangerous quarter?
I think so.
Swiatek continues to get the bad luck with a tough quarter. Belinda Bencic, returning mother. Azarenka, also returning mother. Victoria Mboko. Wow, I did not know she was in the main draw. That's amazing. So Victoria Mboko, she's a Canadian 18-year-old player.
Let's go.
And I believe she's won either 3 or 5 ITF tournaments this year already. Dang. So she's been crushing it, and she's been a name that the Canadians have been stoked about for a while. So she's got an amazing match in Camila Osorio. Wow, that's 1st round. So we'll be watching that. And yeah, so that's a great quarter there. Lots of even all the players that aren't seeded are still like a lot of them household names. So I would say that might be the most dense quarter on the women's side.
And Mira's sister,
really
in that part.
Where is that?
She got a wild card.
Oh yeah, Erica Andreeva. How old is she now? Don't tell me she's like 14.
No. I believe she's older.
Okay.
I think maybe we need to double check.
Someone fact check us. Put it in the comments. Who's older between the Andreeva sisters? Either way, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And that whole draw. What's your thought on? I guess let's do prediction time now for the women's side. Prediction sounds like you already kind of have yours locked. Arena Sabalenka. Is that fair to say? He's a Sabalenka simp. No, that's no problem. I am too.
Right.
It just feels like when she's playing her game, she's going to win most of these tournaments. But that's, to be honest, really changed this year.
Right.
At the Australian Open and at Indian Wells.
She's been there, though.
She's been there.
So it's not like she's playing bad.
She's been in both finals.
And I love the analogy they were giving her. Like, somebody pulled the tail of the lion.
Yeah.
And I think she's about to roar this week.
Yeah, I did walk by her down below today and almost bumped into her. Thankfully didn't. I didn't want to be the reason she lost early. That would have been awkward.
Could have been a shoulder injury to her.
Could have been a shoulder injury to her. I might have gotten taken out back, by her guards or her team, dealt with. So glad that didn't happen. But anyways, we're here in Miami. So that's a preview of the draw. Both draws fully broken down and previewed. Oh yeah, I guess my preview also. Okay, I actually want to think about this because Sabalenka does seem like the safe pick. So I'm going to say I was just around Coco today in press, and she was giving me great vibes, but she always does. So I would say Coco Gauff.
Love that.
Potential winner here in Miami. That's my pick. That's my
celebrate at home with the fam after.
Would be crazy. She would that would be crazy. She'd go to Atlantic Ave, I think. That's what she talked about. She said she did that on her birthday. She went to Atlantic Ave And she went out and she said everyone there is so cool. They don't even ask her, like they don't harass her. It's great.
Fun fact about one of the spots on Atlantic Ave, there's like an ice cream shop. And maybe I've brought this up before, but you can see in the bathroom if they don't lock the door after they go in. So when you lock the door, the window shuts, which is wild. I don't know how it's legal, but it's a fun little thing.
I'm sure some people like go crazy with that.
For sure. Luckily, like it's the ice cream shop, so it's not a bar where people would be truly
nuts. But yeah, it is Florida. It is Miami. The vibes are high. And I feel like the energy is still kind of building at this tournament, waiting for people to get going. You can see the stadium behind us, obviously. We're stoked. Thanks to Betway for sending us here. Check the links below. Follow us on Instagram and X for our constant daily updates, and we will keep you posted as the tournament goes on. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
We'll see you next time here on The Slice.